This conference will now be recorded.
Yes. Uh, then let's get started, guys. I think most of them are here. Let them join in between. Yeah. Okay. Uh, I hope I shared my screen. And before starting the session, right, I just wanted to confirm on my voice, guys. Is my voice clear? Can someone please confirm?
Yes, Ajay.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So so today is our first day, right? So I mean, couple of days back on last Saturday, we had a kind of a demo session where I just gave some high level information about Selenium test automation, and also I shared what are all things we are going to learn as part of this entire course. Okay. So let me start with our, I mean, let's go by our course contents so that uh, we will have a clear picture what we are going to learn. And so this is what I shared with you. I mean, even you might have got this course contents from the career IT team also. So this entire course, that entire Selenium with Java, so I just designed and divided into four different phases. Okay, one is Selenium introduction phase, and core Java or Java language course, I mean phase, and then core concepts. This is main thing, and advanced concepts. Okay, so part of that. So we will also go by same order. So we'll start with introduction concepts, just 2 to 3 days, and then we'll directly jump on to the programming language which we are going to use as part of this course is Java. So the core concepts of Java we'll discuss for almost 10 days. Then we'll again jump on to the main topics are uh, the major part of Selenium test automation, that core concepts of Selenium. Then once these are done, then we'll go to the advanced concepts of Selenium automation, where we are going to learn different third-party tools also here. Okay, yeah. Let's get started with here. Anyway, the introduction to automation and Selenium, this we almost discussed in our demo session, but I see some of them are newly joined today as well. Let me quickly recap these one or two topics, and then we'll directly start with the new topics of today, like different automation approaches, and also the brief history about Selenium, when it came, who developed it, and all, and some of the limitations of Selenium also we'll discuss. Okay, so let me quickly recap these two things, guys. What is automation testing, and why we need automation testing, and also what are different benefits which we get when we have a dedicated automation in our software testing life cycle. Okay, so let me quickly recap those things. So this is what test automation, which we discussed in demo session also, guys. Like test automation is nothing but, okay. So generally in manual testing, what we do, we'll simply, we will have a test cases, or we will write some test cases or use cases, and we will start testing them. Testing them in the sense we will start testing the functionality of the application simply. Like suppose I want to test the order placing functionality in any online website, okay, online shopping website, where I need to follow some certain steps, like I need to first launch my application and search for particular item, and then go to product details page and validate product item and other details, and add to cart, right, and add some address and payment details, and place an order and verify the order number, like that, like that. There's some steps will be there. So during our manual testing, what we do, we will sit in front of the machine, and then we will check as per the steps given. Like, so we will launch the application, we'll check whether application is launched or not. We will go to the search for item, so whether item is displayed or not, go to the product details page and validate all these things, right. We will run those steps one by one. Run in the sense we will manually check those steps one by one, and if everything goes fine, we will make the test case as passed. Right? In the same way, in automation testing also, the same actions which we generally do using any manual testing, right? So those actions we are going to perform by using any particular tool here. Okay. So when it comes to automation testing, we are going to use a particular automation tool, and we are going to execute the test cases which we already written. And then finally, the ultimate goal of automation testing is also like comparing the actual results against the expected results. Okay. So that is the ultimate goal of automation testing or any testing. So the main software testing goal is to compare the results and validate something, and then make sure our application is more stable and more quality wise it is very good. Okay, that is what we are going to do it, right? So test automation is nothing but using, that's what I mentioned here also, it's using an automation tool to automate test cases, execute them, and finally compare the actual results against the expected results. So actual results and expected results, these are the two things, guys. Expected results are the results which we set. Okay, so this should be there, this message should come, this order number should generate, okay, this page should be coming, like that. We will set some expected results, and actual results are the results which we see while executing. Suppose when I click on a button, something is happening, some message is coming. So whatever message I'm seeing on the screen, that is actual result. What is the message I'm going to expect is, right, I'm going to expect before running the test case. So this message should come. That is called a expected result. Okay. So these two things we need to compare. If both are matching, then we will make the test case passed. Okay. So these are all the benefits which we get during when we have a dedicated automation testing in our software life cycle. So like it saves a lot of time. This we discussed in the demo session also. I'm moving quick fast, I mean, so that I can discuss the another important things in today's class. Okay. So basically saves a lot of time, guys, because automation testing, we can run the test cases in different missions, and there is a provision of running the test cases in parallel as well. Okay. I can run test cases in parallel, like 5 test cases in parallel execution. So that's where I can save a lot of time and cost wise, because so once I have developed entire automation, test automation, regression suite or something, so then we don't need more resources to work on those. I just need one resource, and then one manual resource, or one resource where he can just trigger the automation test cases, and he will simply validate the failures or something. That's it. Okay. Cost wise, you can reduce the team of size from 5 to 2 or something like that. But we need a team to develop automation things, guys. Okay, that is sure. uh, but after automation is developed, then we can reduce the cost, so that we will have only one or two resources to maintain that automation. Okay. Then the test cases will run 70 to 75% faster, because so you don't need to sit in front of the machine and then do it. So once you have automation and then run it, it will take care of running in some virtual missions or in other missions, and then where the test cases will get executed and parallel execution will be there, so that it will be faster than the manual testing, obviously. And you can cover all the features of applications. Okay, like application features, you can, like suppose if you take any online shopping website, where you can cover shopping cart test cases, checkout test cases, my account test cases, product details pages, like that. Most of the features of the applications can be automated, and you can coverage the test coverage will be more or wider in case of automation testing. Obviously results will be reliable. You will get the you will get the report at the end of your automation, and that report will be uh, shared, you can share with the direct development team, and or else it will have a we have an option in automation testing, as that is nothing but you can take a screenshot as well whenever any test case fails. So by seeing that this screenshot, you can come to know what happened actually, whether it is a whether there is a real defect is there, or it is something environment issue, or something, some script issue or something. You can easily come to know by seeing that screenshots, so that the results will be very reliable, and you can do a proper failure analysis after the execution is done. Then you can report if any issues or defects are there to the concerned teams, like development team or like other teams. Then as I mentioned, right, human intervention not at all required during the test execution. So when the automation execution is going on, you don't need to sit in front of the machine, and then you don't need to observe what is happening. So it will take care of running. Anyway, at the end of the execution, we will get a report. So that report you can spend some time to analysis. I mean, for analysis, and then share the observations, right? So, but during the execution, you don't need to do anything, and you can efficiently test all the features of your application. And reusable test automation scripts, this is very important feature of automation testing is like, so you can write a script once, and you can reuse any number of times or any number of places. Like, suppose I gave some example in the demo session also. Like, suppose I have a login page, and I have automated that login page. Okay, just to enter username, password, and click on login button to log into that application. So I have total some 200 or 250 test cases for as part of my regression suite of that particular application. Each test case, the first step would be just to log into the application, right? So in such cases, so I don't need to write the login script 200 or 250 times, right? I can simply write once, and the same method. Generally, here we will create a method. The same method I can simply reuse across all my 250 test cases. Okay, so that way, write once and use many times. So that is another important feature of automation testing. It will reduce the time taking for even script development, right? So you don't need to write multiple times. You can simply write once, so that you can save time while generating script or while developing automation script as. And frequently, I mean, you can run a number of times whenever you want to execute your test cases. Okay, suppose you have developed one regression automation suite which consists of some 150 test cases, and so today there was a deployment happened in your lower environment, like staging or UAT environment. You can run your test cases, and in the evening there is some changes happen. Again, you can run your test cases, and number of times you can run your test cases, guys. And finally, if you have a test automation framework or test automation, dedicated test automation in your project or product, so your product can be released to the market early. Okay, because I mean, currently, I mean, in current trend in agile or DevOps methodologies, everyone, I mean, even stakeholders or the product managers, they are really looking for the faster way of releasing their applications to the market. So that's where this automation will really help them in releasing or in placing their applications into the market early. Okay, so these are all the benefits which we get, guys, do whenever we have a dedicated automation in your software testing lifecycle. That's where most of the people, I mean, that's where, right? So even any testing project or any testing area, so they are looking for the automation, not just the manual testing, guys. Okay, because of all these benefits. Okay, now I will just provide what is selenium and what are all the best features of selenium. Then we'll go and discuss about different automation approaches which was not discussed in the demo session. Okay, this we also already discussed in demo session also, guys. So selenium is nothing but it's a automation tool. Okay, but it's not a simple or single tool. It consists of multiple components. It is a suite of softwares. That is nothing but there are four different components it has. And the main goal or the main purpose of selenium is to automate the web application interactions. Okay, that is nothing but, so web application, here web application is nothing but the application which we open through a browser using internet. So those applications we call it as web applications. So selenium can only talk to the web applications. Okay, this is one of the limitations, but it's not a hard limitation, guys. Because if you see nowadays, 99.9% of the applications are web applications. Like, so as internet spreaded across the world, so most of the product owners or stakeholders, they are willing to use their applications as a web versions instead of Windows based applications or something. If it is a Windows based application or some particular operating system based applications, those will be limited to only certain users. Suppose if it is a web application, anyone can access from the world anywhere. It just needs a browser and internet, right? Even you can access from the mobile as well in browser. That's where most of the applications now we are having in the world are web applications. And Selenium also mainly focus on web application interactions. You can automate the web applications easily. Okay, and how the script will perform, right? So how the real user perform the actions like clicking on buttons or entering some text into text boxes, navigate into different pages, right? Same way Selenium also does the actions, guys. Selenium does the same actions how the real user performs. So that's where we will write a script. Suppose in Selenium I have a simple method called click. Okay, when I call that method click, it will simply go and click on that particular button. That's it. So how the real user click on a button, right? Same way it will click on the button. That's how it interacts to the web browser or web applications in a very efficient manner. How the real user, it just mimics the real user behavior and interacting. How the real user interacts, like how the real user clicks on a buttons and perform the action, such same way Selenium also will do it. Okay, and there are four components I mentioned, right? Selenium RC, IDE, WebDriver, and Selenium Grid. So Selenium RC is basically a first version of Selenium which was released into the market. That is like Selenium 1.0 or 1.0. Okay, and it was very basic version. And later, after 2 years, they merged that Selenium RC into Selenium WebDriver, and they named it as Selenium WebDriver or Selenium 2.0. So finally, we don't have Selenium RC into the components because that has been deprecated and merged into Selenium WebDriver. Okay, and next one is Selenium IDE, which is basically an browser add-on, which is basically a record and playback tool. That is nothing but you can record your actions, and behind the screen actions will be converted into scripts, and you can run the script again. You whatever recorded, right, those will get executed. Okay, the Selenium IDE is basically a browser add-on, and moreover this is basically for learning purpose, guys. So in real time automation or real time project implementation, right? We are not going Selenium IDE at any point of time. Selenium IDE is basically for learning purpose. You can simply record and play back. Okay, and Selenium WebDriver, the third component, which is the most important and most powerful component among all these four components, which is an object oriented uh, approach followed, and it is more powerful. Whatever actions we are going to perform it, that's where we are going to we have a separate predefined methods in Selenium. By using those we can perform a different actions. Okay, and Selenium Grid, which is another component. Basically this is used for distribution automation testing. Okay, distribution automation testing in the sense, suppose I have a huge number of test cases, guys. Okay, let me quickly show you one simple uh, representation how this uh, Selenium Grid works. Okay, so generally in Selenium Grid we will have a client server architecture, or we simply call it as hub node architecture. Something like uh, suppose this is my hub. Generally the architecture will be like, I will have a hub mission. This is nothing but a mission, guys. Okay, let's think this is nothing but a mission. And similarly I will have node missions. Okay, node missions are nothing but just okay, node 1 like this. I will have a different node missions. So Here in Selenium Grid, we will connect the hub mission to the different node missions which we have. That is nothing but the connection between these two we will establish, so that so whenever, let me quickly make that connection. So anyway, we have a separate sessions for this Selenium Grid, guys. So where I will show you how really we will connect to the hub and node missions. Okay. So suppose here, as I mentioned, that Selenium Grid is mainly for distribution automation testing. That is nothing but I have a huge number of test cases. Suppose I have some 1,000 test cases as part of my regression suite. Okay, so 1,000 test cases I have. So generally in hub mission where we will have a test cases information, when I run my test cases from hub, then what Selenium Grid will do, right? It will distribute the test cases across all the missions, and the actual execution will happen in the node missions. So before distributing, first it will check how many node missions are configured. So there are total 4 node missions are configured. Okay. So node 1, node 2, node 3, and node 4. Total 4 missions configured. And first it will check how many test cases are there. And then it will check how many missions are node missions are configured for. Then it will divide the total number of test cases by the number of node missions configured. That means 1000 by 4. That means total 250 test 250 to 250, right? The first 250 chunk, okay, 250 test cases chunk, it will distribute to the first node mission. Okay, then second 250 test cases will be distributed to the second node mission, and third 250 test cases will be distributed to the third mission, and final chunk, that is nothing but final 250 set of 250 test cases will be distributed to the node 4, so that so all 250 chunks will run in parallel, so that I can improve my test cases performance, execution performance, and also I can uh, get the report back to the hub mission, guys. So that's where in case of Selenium Grid, this is kind of a grid, right, where multiple missions are involved, and there will be one hub mission, that is a main mission, like parent mission or main mission, where all the test cases will be there, and actual execution will start from here, but actual execution will happen here, like browser opening and performing different actions, everything will be performed or will be executed here, guys, node missions. Okay, so this is what the Selenium Grid does, and uh, this is how we will get a one of the major benefits of Selenium Grid is like distribution automation testing. You can distribute the test cases across the different missions, and these missions also can be anything else. Like this can be a Windows based mission, this can be Linux, this can be Apple iOS, or this can be anything. Okay, like that you can configure and you can run your test cases. Okay, yeah. So this is all about Selenium Grid, guys. So don't worry, we will discuss one by one component in detail in the coming classes. I'm just giving some high level details about Selenium components, guys. Okay, so then this is all about Selenium and all, guys. Now let me discuss another important or interesting topic called different automation approaches, guys. Okay, so different automation approaches. Generally, automation can be developed or can be achieved in two ways. Okay, so one is you by object based automation, guys. Okay, object based automation approach, and next one is like image based automation approach. Okay, so object based automation, nothing but suppose let's take one simple website, guys. Okay, let's take Amazon website only. Okay, online shopping website, Amazon.in or Amazon.com, whatever. So in case of object based automation, suppose I want to click on any particular item here. Okay, suppose I want to click on like let me click on this best sellers menu item. Okay, so in case of object based automation approach, what we do, right, we will identify this particular element, whichever element I am going to act upon, right. I will go and locate this particular element by using the properties of that particular element. Okay, suppose if I inspect this, right click and inspect of this element, I will see there is one html code has been there, right? So this is entire html code of this particular page. And if you see this particular best sellers, the developers they have given as a anchor tag, a tag. So I can locate this particular element by using a properties of or attributes of this particular tag. So that's where we identify the elements here. Okay, identify the elements. Elements are nothing but buttons or something else. Elements by using its objects. Okay, its objects properties or attributes. Okay, so that's where we will identify the elements under object based automation approach. So everything will be identified by these objects, or the we generally call it as this entire thing we call it as DOM structure, guys. That is nothing but document object model structure. Okay, where we will identify these elements by using this html elements and also properties or attributes. When it comes to image based automation approach, right, what we do, we identify this particular element by using a image. Okay, we will take a image of this particular button. We will capture the image of this particular button, screenshot or something. Suppose let me like suppose I am capturing something like this image like this. Okay, so my image would be like just a moment, let me put a new slide. So my image would be something like this. See, I copied like this. I copy image like this, and then using some methods of that particular image-based automation team, I will be act upon it, clicking or whatever action I wanted to do. Okay, so the major difference between image-based and object-based is, in case of object-based, we will identify, or the tool automation tool will interact with the element, will interact with the objects properties of that particular elements. But in case of image based automation approach, it will interact by using images. Okay, so our selenium, okay, our selenium will come under object based automation approach. Yes, not only selenium, like hp uft and ibm rft and the cypress, right? Most of the tools, there are mostly lot of tools available. Those are all object based automation tools. So this image based automation tools, there are some other tools like eggplant. Okay, eggplant from test plant, and apply tools and Sikuli script. Okay, like this there are another tools available for image based automation approach. The major difference between object based and image based, right? So in case of image based automation approach, it doesn't need to understand what the technology they have used to develop this particular application. Okay, whether it is a uh, java based application or .NET based or like anything, they don't need to, they just need one application, and they should be able to capture the images and click on. And also it cannot be on a web application also. So image based automation tools can automate anything, like windows based applications, or simply command line based applications. Anything can be automated using image based automation approach. But in case of object based automation approach, so mostly it is driven by objects. So you should be able to capture the objects. Suppose web applications or even windows application also, you should be driven by objects. Okay, and in case of image based automation approach, your your application screen should be active while running it. Suppose you are running an automation script which was developed using image based automation approach, and whenever you are running, right, suppose it should be the present, I mean your application page should be active, then only it can go and click on it. Suppose while executing there, one pop-up came here, something, okay, which is hiding this button, then it cannot identify that button and click on it. But when it comes to object based automation, it doesn't matter. Suppose your button is there, any pop-up is also coming, and which is not a this application pop-up or something, then you can go and click on it, that button. Okay, So, but you just need to understand there are two approaches: image based and object based. Our Selenium will come under object based automation approach tool, guys. Okay, yeah. So this is all about the two different automation approaches, guys. Now let's go to, I think I discussed this thing, what is test automation, this different automation approaches, Selenium and these things. Let's discuss about history about Selenium. Okay, what is, when it came, who developed it, and what are all different years, major years involved in this particular Selenium test automation. Okay, let me go to this slide. Yep. See, I just gave major years which are involved in the history of Selenium, guys. When it came, who developed it and all. See, basically the first year where Selenium into the market is 2004, guys. So in 2004 there was one person called Jason Huggins. Okay, there was one person called Jason Huggins. He was from a company called ThoughtWorks. Okay, he was from a company called ThoughtWorks who developed a Selenium, and he released into the market in the year of 2004 with a name of Selenium 1.0 or Selenium RC. Okay, so Selenium RC or Selenium 1.0 or 1.0 first version was released in the year of 2004 by person called Jason Huggins. He is the main person who started or who released the Selenium into the market, who developed the Selenium basically. Okay, so later on in the year of 2006, like after 2 years, okay, so there was one person called Simon Stewart. He is from Google company. He was working in Google, and he started working on a object-oriented API called WebDriver. Okay, he started working. He did not release that into the market, guys. He started working in the year of 2006. That is called WebDriver, which is an object-oriented API. Okay, so then in the same year there was one more person called Shinya Kastani. He he created and released one another tool of Selenium called Selenium IDE. Okay, so another components of Selenium, right? Selenium IDE he developed and he released into the market as a plugin of Firefox. So initially, on initial release of Selenium IDE, it was supported only by Firefox browser, guys. Now you can use that Selenium IDE in Chrome or IE also, but majorly Selenium IDE initial release in the 2006, it was supported by only Firefox browser. Okay, so in the year of 2016, this Shinya Kastani who developed and released an IDE or a plugin of Firefox called Selenium IDE, which is basically a record and playback tool. Okay, then the major year here comes like 2009. This is the major year where the person Simon Stewart, right, who started developing an object oriented API called WebDriver. This person he merged the Selenium RC project, that is nothing but Selenium 1.0, into this WebDriver API, and he released one integrated project called Selenium 2.0. Okay, so Selenium 2.0, and then onwards we generally call it as Selenium WebDriver, which was released in the year of 2009. Okay, after releasing this Selenium WebDriver, right? So after 2 to 3 years, Selenium RC was there, but after 1 or 2 years, they deprecated completely the Selenium RC, and Selenium 2.0 continued from there. Okay, so after 2009, for 1 year or 1.5 year, the Selenium RC was there, but later they deprecated, they completely removed that Selenium RC or Selenium 1.0, and they continued with the Selenium 2.0 version till 2016. Okay, in 2016 they released another big version called 3.0, which is they have introduced a lot of features. And then into 2021, actually last year only, they released another major version called Selenium 4.0. Now in the market we have Selenium 4.4 series, like actually Selenium 4 series is going on. Like now, currently we have Selenium 4.2 point something like that. Okay, so between these years, right, from 2009 to 2016, they released a lot of versions from 2.0 to 3.0, like 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, like that. And the major version was released in the year 2016 only. Okay, now we have the latest version or latest series. The major version which is going in the current market is Selenium 4.1, 4.2. You can go to the Selenium official site. So there is one Selenium official site which is called selenium.dev, guys. Okay, so whenever you want to download any libraries or anything, directly go to this site only. Don't go to any other site. Anyway, I will teach you how to download and how to configure everything, but just giving some information like selenium.dev. This is the official site of Selenium, where you can find all the documentation and all the downloads related to Selenium. Okay, and which is a open source. You can download anything at any point of time without even logging into this application. You don't need to create an account or something before downloading. You can directly go to downloads and you can start downloading this. See, the current stable version is 4.6.0. Okay, so in 2021 they released 4.0.0. Then they gradually increasing, I mean releasing the different versions. They are fixing the issues, they are improvising the execution and all those things. Okay, still the Selenium is maintained by a open source community, guys. So this Simon Stewart was there till 2021, okay, as a project lead. So Simon Stewart, which I mentioned, right, from Google. So he was maintaining this entire project till 2021. After released, right, this uh, 4.0, he stepped down from the project lead, and then he is working on some other things. But there is a team, there is a big team. They are working on the Selenium open source project, guys. Okay, so these are all the major different years involved in the history of Selenium. So let me just give some details about how this name came, guys. So how this Selenium name came. Okay, so guys, today I mostly uh, it's kind of a theory session, right? So don't worry. So from tomorrow onwards, it will be more practical sessions will be there. I mean, so I'm going to write some code and then run and all those things. But today, just bear with me. I'm going to give some introduction or some basic details about Selenium. Okay. So at the end, anyway, I will show you how Selenium works by running one test case. But for now, let's see. Let's bear with these theory topics. Okay, we have to know about all these things when it came, who developed and what are all these things, some prerequisites. Okay, so now let's discuss how this name came, Selenium, right? See, Selenium is not a technical word. Actually, it is a chemical name, right? Chemical word or something. We have an a substance or element called selenium in our chemical terminology, or in chemical area, right? Selenium or mercury or lot of elements are there, right? Chemical elements. So selenium is also one of the elements of chemical area where it was there. So then why did these guys in the sense Jason Huggins prefer this selenium name to this tool? Okay, there was a reason. Basically, so before Selenium came into the market, there was one tool leading the automation. Okay, that tool is called HPUFT. Nowadays we call it as HPUFT. Earlier we call it as QTP. Okay, Quick Test Professional or something. QTP, which was owned by HP. Okay, before HP took over this QTP from the company called Mercury, guys. Okay, so there was one company called Mercury. The QTP was with those company first developed by Mercury only. Later on, HP bought this and then they rename it to QTP and then UFT also. Okay, so initially the parent company of QTP was Mercury, right? So before this Selenium came into the market, so this QTP was leading the automation entirely. Then they want to give a counterpart to this particular Mercury tool, or I mean that QTP tool. So as a team they were discussing something, what is the name we can give. Then this guy Jason against just the he 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 suggested name. He just played a joke kind of, let's have it as selenium. So that generally in a chemical terminology or chemical industry, so selenium cures mercury. Suppose if you have a mercury in your body, if you take a selenium supplements, it will cure that mercury thing. So with that, this guy just played a joke, let's have a selenium, so that it cures the mercury, because mercury was around the market rate like this QTP. He just played a joke saying that let's have a selenium. Then everyone agreed, and then they gave the name as selenium. Okay, so that's where this name came, because they wanted to give a counterpart to the already existing tool called QTP, which was developed by Mercury. So that's where they gave a name as Selenium, guys. Okay, that's how the Selenium name came. Okay, so that's all about a brief history about features and advantages and limitations. We'll discuss quickly in the tomorrow's class. Don't worry. Before that, let me show you how selenium works, guys. Okay, I already showed this in the demo session also, but I see there are some new folks joined today as well. So let me show you how selenium really work. Okay, see, uh, so basically, let me take a simple scenario. Like, I generally use this particular basic site called wikipedia.org, guys, because it will have very basic controls like text boxes, radio buttons, and check boxes. Okay, so it has one text box, it has one select drop down, it has one button. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to enter some text here. Okay, I'm going to select a language here, and I'm going to click on search icon. It is going to the next page where it is going to give the details about my search key, that is nothing but India. Okay, it will give some details about India, and I'm going to validate whether India is there or not. Okay, so then so I will just validate this header text and I will close my browser. This is my simple use case. So to automate this use case, see, I have already automated by using Selenium WebDriver with Java, guys. This is a Java language, and this is a Selenium with Java. Okay. So suppose if I see the first three lines of code for launching a browser. Okay. First I need to launch a browser, right? And then I need to enter that URL. So this line of code is for entering the URL into that browser. And these three lines of code, basically, I'm going to enter some text into text box, right? I need to first locate these elements, text box, drop down, and button. So these three lines of code for locating those elements, and these four lines of code for performing the action. Okay, entering India into search box. Okay, selecting English language from the drop down, clicking on a search icon button. So don't worry about all this, we will discuss line by line in the coming classes. Okay, and these two lines are for waiting for the browser response. See, as soon as I click on it, right, it is taking some time to navigate to this page. It can be microseconds or nanoseconds, but there is a delay, right? So I need to wait for that particular time to be this particular element to be available. For that I have used these two lines of code. Then I am reading the text and printing the text here, and finally I'm validating my header text, and then finally I'm closing my browser. Okay, so let me quickly run this. I'm closing my existing browser which is already opened. Just a moment. Yeah, so I closed my Chrome browser. In my mission there is no Chrome browser open. Now I'm just running this simple test case which was automated by using Selenium with Java. Run as Java application. Just a moment, it will start it. See, it's starting Chrome driver. It is, see, it launched my browser. It is going to maximize it. Entering that Wikipedia, India, English, clicked on search icon, navigating to the next page, and waiting, loading, and then closing. Validated, read the text from there, and test case has been passed. So this is how really Selenium works, guys. Okay. So how this worked in the sense it identified the elements by using that elements object properties like this by name, by XPath, all these, right? These are object locators. By using this, it identified those elements by using predefined methods like send keys, click, select by value. These are the methods, predefined methods. By using this, it interacted with that particular elements by providing some data. Okay, then this is how it read the get text. All these are reading the text and all. So these are the predefined methods or predefined classes available in Selenium library. By using those, I developed one script to automate my simple test scenario or use case. Okay, so you will also at the end of the course you will also will be able to write this these many lines of code to automate the test cases, guys. Okay, so don't worry for now. You eventually, I mean, day by day you will start learning all these things. Okay, so before that we need to learn Java. Okay, what is this class, public class, class name, and what is this public static void main, and what is this get method, how to call the methods, how to create an object to the particular class. All these we will be discussing one by one in the coming classes. Okay, yeah, so that's all about. So today we discussed till here, guys. Then in tomorrow's class, we'll discuss about some features and then limitations of Selenium. We need to understand what are the major limitations we have in Selenium, how to overcome them, and then we'll discuss. And also we'll discuss some components thing, and we'll go deep dive into this particular Selenium IDE. Okay, Selenium IDE is the tool. I will show you how to download this, how to configure, how to record a basic scenario, how to playback, how to generate a script, and all those things we'll discuss. Okay, once these are done, guys, so we will start jumping into the Java language, Java programming language. This is also very detailed manner. I will be telling from very scratch, like Java introduction, how to write a simple program, how to execute it, and starting from variable, what is data type, and all we'll discuss. So this will go like for 10 days, 10 to 15 days mostly. Then we will again jump onto the main concepts of Selenium. Okay, how to automate text boxes, how to automate buttons, links, check boxes, and all, how to automate browser windows and different concepts. Then we'll finally discuss about Selenium advanced concepts where I will discuss about how to what is TestNG, how to use Maven, how to use page object model framework, and how to use Jenkins or Git. All these things we'll discuss, which are basically, and also BDD framework also I will show you guys. Okay, I did not mention here that BDD. There will be one class for BDD also, like behavior driven development by using Cucumber framework. Okay, yeah, so let me wrap it up here for today, guys. I don't want to give more gyan today itself because it's morely purely kind of a theory session today. So tomorrow onwards, we are going to discuss very practical manner. I mean, Selenium ID we are going to discuss, right? So there I will show you how to install, how to configure, how to run, and okay, yeah. So that's all from my side for today, guys. So let me leave it for questions and answers, uh, and then uh, and then we can close. Okay. If you guys have any questions and questions, you can just post on the chat box, or else you can talk to me directly. I got one question: automation used in staging or production? Yeah. So it's a very good question. See, generally any testing, right? Not only automation, even if you take a manual testing, the extensive or complete testing we will be done in the lower environments like staging or UAT or user acceptance testing areas or somewhere. But the production we won't perform the complete regression testing there. We will simply perform some kind of a smoke or sanity checks there because we already done an extensive testing in the staging like lower environments. We don't need to perform the entire test. Suppose I have some thousand test cases, manual test cases. I test I tested the staging environment using all these thousand test cases. Again, after production release, I don't need to test all the 1,000 test cases in the production again, because we already tested same. They have moved from same code. They have moved from staging to production, right? So where in production we will perform a very less validation. So in the same way, how we do it for manual testing, right? In automation testing also, in production we will run only few test cases, that is a smoke test cases or sanity test cases, just to check the health of the production. We don't perform, because we don't need to. Generally, if I run all the test cases, it unnecessarily, it will create lot of data there in production side, test data, which is not good thing. So that's where, so we perform very less test cases in production. But our major any testing, automation or manual testing, we are going to target only the staging environment. We will make sure the staging environment is stable. Then they will take the code from staging to move it to the production. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? So not only related to today's class, any common questions also can be discussed here, guys. So don't think like only whatever discussed today, you need to ask those questions. If you have any concerns or questions, not only about selenium, any questions you can put it, no issues. Yeah. Another question came, how automation testing will fit into agile methodologies. This is very important, because see, generally agile methodologies are agile approach, where we will have a sprints. I mean, we will divide our basically agile methodologies for, moreover, is for time management. Okay, so in the entire project life cycle, so what we do, whatever features we are going to release to the market, we will divide them into different modules, and also we will put it into a different sprints. Sprint is nothing but a either 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks of time, where we will target one MVP, like some testable piece or something which we want to release to the market. That's what we generally do in agile methodologies or agile approach. So in case of testing also, in case of automation or testing, what we do, right? If we have a time, like in the sprint, we have a time to automate the test cases, we will there itself we will automate. So generally, what we do, right? We will take next sprint, I mean, so n plus one sprint, basically. So this sprint we will do manual testing, or we will first prepare the test cases and everything ready. Then after the sprint over, right, in the next sprint we will moreover spend a time for automation, automating the same. If you have a dedicated uh, suppose you have only one team which is taking care of both manual and automation testing, generally what they will do, right, they will perform automation testing in n plus one sprint, like a next sprint. But if you have a dedicated manual team, I mean separate manual team and separate automation team, then in the same sprint itself, automation will team will take care of automating the scenarios which are developing as part of that sprint itself. Okay, and those are not a stable automation, guys, anyway, because at the end of the sprint, so whatever the developers targeted, right, for any feature they are releasing, so we will be ready with entire automation, I mean script wise. Once they release it for our staging environment, we will run our test cases and we'll check whether that is really. But again, there will be modifications, because agile, right, actually they keep on changing the uh, not the features, actually they keep on changing the code, and then they are fixing the issues and that, right? So on initial stages in the sprint, we will have a less stable automation, but in n plus one sprint we will have a stable automation. Okay, that's where in case of agile methodologies, moreover, we will depend on the n plus one sprint. That is nothing but next sprint. Suppose I'm in sprint one now. Okay, so where some development and testing is going on, but main automation will be executed or will be taken place in the next sprint 2, because where I will have a stable code or stable thing into my staging version. Okay. Yeah, any other questions, guys? And also for your hands-on experience or for your practice, right? So what is the mission configurations or what are the softwares required? All those I will be giving when the actual core Java classes starts, right? That time I will tell you what are all different things required. Okay. Yeah, I got one more question. What is staging and production? The difference. Okay. See, generally, any application will have a different environments. Okay, environments are nothing but there will be different servers. They host their code. Developers, they host or they deploy their code into different environments or different servers. Okay, why we need different servers? Because before directly releasing the code or releasing the application to the production to the all the world, we need to test it. We need to make sure everything working fine, right? That's where we will have a low level of environments or the kind of servers. First they will deploy to a particular server called staging or dev server or staging or kind of pre-production or kind of UAT. Okay, there where we will perform our testing and we will make sure everything is working fine in those environments like staging environment or dev environment or UAT or pre-production. And once everything is fine, then only that entire code will be moved to the main environment called production. That's where everyone will be accessed. Okay. Suppose now I see Amazon.com, right? This is the production environment of Amazon. Okay. So here where this is a production environment, anyone can access. But for this also they will have something called staging.amazon.com or else dev.amazon.com. There might be some lower environment for Amazon people also. Okay. So suppose anyway that won't work. I'm just giving an example. Like this dev.amazon.com will be there. This is where first they develop the features and then they deploy it to this particular server or this particular environment. This is where the testing team will perform the testing, and if everything works fine, then they will move it to the next environment called production. Okay, so that's where each application will have a different environments like staging, pre-production, dev, or like the naming will be different. Everyone will follow different names, but commonly dev environment, staging, pre-production, SIT, UAT, something like that they will follow. Okay, with the selenium can we do smoke or sanity test? Exactly. We can do smoke testing or sanity testing. We can perform regression testing. We can perform integration testing. We can perform unit testing. All this can be performed using Selenium. Okay. So don't worry. Only thing is we will divide the test cases into these particular groups. So I will have a smoke test cases. I will have a sanity. I will have a regression test cases. I will have integration test cases like that. So those test cases, just a Selenium test cases, we can run them and then we can perform those kind of different levels of testing. Actually, yeah, it can be done. So I have one more question. So we do automation staging. Yes, correct. We majorly do automation staging only, and we will make sure staging is more stable and the quality wise it is good. Then only they will move that code to the production environment. So our testing focus would be on staging environment, guys. Okay. So because staging environment is our QA environment, like our testing environment, it is owned by testing team, and that is where we will perform all the testing and everything, and we will make sure everything looks good there. Then it will the same code will be promoted to the production. Even manual testing or automation testing will be focused on staging environment only. I mean 90%. So in production also we will perform some automation, some manual testing, but as I mentioned it, very less. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Okay, then. If there are no further questions, yeah, don't worry. Anyway, you can ask the questions in coming classes also whenever you find. So let's connect tomorrow at the same time 6:30 a.m. guys. Thanks guys. Thanks for your time. Catch up tomorrow at the same time 6:30 a.m. IST. We will be starting some new topics tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. Thank you all. See you tomorrow, guys.
Sure, Jay.
Bye. And recording will be shared, guys. Don't worry. And also the projects also will be shared. Don't worry. Yeah.